And we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to another YouTube Hangout. Super excited to be here. I have a special guest with me, a return guest, Cloris. We had a great discussion on influencer marketing. That was an awesome chat that we had on my channel, and she also runs her own podcast and wanted to do an interview with me for her show. And I thought, hey, let's do it again as a YouTube Hangout, so my audience can benefit as well. So, Cloris, welcome back.
Thank you, Evan. It's such a pleasure to be here again.
So for people who are interested in your podcast and what it's all about, give us the overview about your show.
Yeah, my show is Magnificent Time, and it's called Magnificent Time because, again, my motto is reveal your magnificence. You have to, you have a gift, and it's your duty to share it with those around you, and that's the purpose of the show, just to show you how, not only by giving you strategies that you can use right away, but by empowering you. You listen to the stories of people who have been there, who have done what you want to achieve, and you can't help but feel inspired and say, this is possible for me too. So that's the whole point, empowerment tactics to grow your business. So that's what it's all about.
I love it. Well, I think we linked up the everything in the show notes below, so check that guys out. And Cloris, I'll turn it over to you. However you want to introduce it. It's your show now, and I'm excited to do this.
Well, it's awesome. It's awesome. And well, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to all the magnificent people gathered here today, because we have an amazing show. And I'm just so happy to have Evan Carmichael here today, because he's one of those people I've met who really, walks the talk. He wants to help entrepreneurs. He practices what he preaches, and he really helps you. You can tell when you interact with him that he really cares about you. And now he's written a book that is about to come out. It's already available for pre-sale, but I'm really excited about it. And that book is called Your One Word. And I was kind of puzzled by it. What is your one word? And that's what we're here today. We're here to figure out what that is, because Evan says that your one word is the simple, powerful secret to align your business, achieve your goals, and build something that matters. So it sounds like it's something quite exciting and special. And that's why, I can't wait for him to share what that's all about. But before, let me tell you a little bit more about Evan. This show is actually first time we're airing it in two different channels. On Evan's channel on YouTube. It's a huge channel with millions of people, so you definitely have to check it out. And if you want to know more, you can go to evancarmichael.com. And we're also airing it here on Magnificent Time. So if you're on Evan's channel, of course you know him. But if you are not, then I want you to know that Evan, when he was only 19, he built and then sold a biotech software company. And then at 22, he was a venture capitalist, helping raise from $500,000 to $15 million. And now he runs evancarmichael.com, and that's his website for entrepreneurs. Why? Because he breathes and bleeds entrepreneurship. He's obsessed with it. His goal is to help 1 billion entrepreneurs and to change the world. And he's done some pretty cool things. He has set 2 world records. He uses a stand-up desk, which I do too, so good for you, Evan. He rides a Vespa, raises funds for Kiva, which is a nonprofit to connect people through lending. He wears 5-toe shoes, and he created entrepreneur trading cards. And he speaks globally, but Toronto, Canada is home. And he loves being married, his son, salsa dancing, DJing, League of Legends, and the Toronto Blue Jays. And wow, that's a lot, Evan. So it doesn't surprise me, because, just by getting to know you, I see how much you do and how much you care. So as I said, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here today.
Very cool. Thanks for having me. I love the name of the show. I'm hoping we can inspire some magnificent people today.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, the first thing I wanted to ask you is, how did you get to where you are today? How did it all start? Did you have to make some sort of transition, that you were in a job that you hated, or did you always know that you wanted to have your own business?
I did not always know. I always had entrepreneurial tendencies, from 5 years old, selling art to my neighbors, to selling baseball cards, to trying to do my own little startup online when the web kind of first came out. Always was doing some entrepreneurial stuff. But I didn't have entrepreneurs in my family, and so there was nobody around me encouraging me to be an entrepreneur. And so I thought I wanted to be a banker and get a kind of safe, stable job like everybody else. And so I ended up having a couple jobs. I didn't do insanely well at jobs. I would find that I would perform well, but didn't kind of fit into the culture as much. And I don't really love politicking and following the rules. I care about the results more than the rules, which I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs can kind of relate to. And so yeah, I thought I wanted to be a banker. That was my aspiration, and ended up connecting with two people who had a business in university, and connected with them, became an owner in that company, and we together built it up and sold it. And I had to make a decision between being the banker and being the entrepreneur, and was one of the hardest decisions, the hardest decision in my life, and decided that I didn't want to live with regret, and I need to give it a shot and see how it goes. I'll give myself a year and do this thing, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, but there you are, exactly. And if even though it was such a young age, you still had to make a decision. And I think that's a big takeaway, that at some point in our life, we have to make a decision, and that decision might not seem like a big deal at the time. I think in your case, you knew it was momentous, it was something important, but sometimes it's those small decisions that we make, even on a day-to-day basis, though, that lead us toward or away from what we really want to be. So I would say, it takes courage, and it takes the awareness to really tune into our inner voice, and to what really calls us out there to be who we really are. And I think as you grew your business, you probably encountered some I guess ventures or opportunities that didn't speak to what you really wanted to do, Evan. So is that true, or was everything kind of smooth for you, or did you feel like you had to do a lot of fixing things and learning from mistakes and so forth?
I don't know that any entrepreneur says that it's smooth. I think it's hard. It's one of the hardest things you're gonna have to do. I think just like right up there with parenting. I don't think any parent says it's smooth all the way through raising a child, and that's what we're doing. We are birthing a new child into existence. Yes, it was insanely hard. I thought about quitting multiple times. I told my partner I quit. I felt the least valuable and lowest self-worth that I've ever felt in my life in running that company in the early days, because I was used to, when I put in work, I got results at school, in athletics and music, whatever I did. If I knew if I put in the time, I'd get results, and here I was putting in the time and getting no results, and just feeling like I am worthless, that this is not working. I don't know how to fix it. And so definitely not smooth sailing. Wondering, did I make it the biggest mistake of my life, saying no to those jobs to run this company? But again, at the end of the day, the thing that got me through was just not regret. I wanted to give it my full shot. I didn't want to quit too soon, and then 10 years later look back and say, I could have done a little bit more. I could have pushed a little bit harder. I didn't really give it my all. I wanted to not have an excuse for saying that I did my best. And so that kind of helped get me through the darkest days. I mean, it's great that it all worked out, but maybe it wouldn't work out. It still would have been worth knowing. I think not knowing is worse than having failed. Not knowing if it will work out is way worse than at least having taken a shot and knowing that it's not going to work.
I love that. Yeah, you might as well just give it your all, expecting success, right? And if it doesn't happen, then there's something better around the corner for you. But at least give it your best, and that's what you have done. So is that why you decided to become such an advocate for entrepreneurship? Why you want to help 1 billion entrepreneurs? Is that because of your own failures, or what prompted that?
Yeah, that's really insightful there, Cloris. I like that. That's deep thinking there. I love it. Yes, I mean, I struggled so much, and I ended up finding a strategy that really worked for me, and I wanted to share it, and I wanted to help other entrepreneurs. And I almost quit. Like, I legit said I quit to my partner, and then cried my face off, and then went back to work the next day again with him. So I wanted, I felt I felt all the roller coaster ups and lots of lows, and I just wanted to try to help other entrepreneurs not have to do the same mistakes that I went through, not have to feel the pain that I felt. And that was the start. At the start, I didn't think, hey, I want to help 1 billion entrepreneurs, have a YouTube channel, write books, and do all this stuff. I wish I could say that I had that foresight to say this is my new thing. I had no idea. But after I sold my company, I got asked to do some speaking. I was 22 years old, like young entrepreneur success story kind of thing. And I realized the lack of education and lack of awareness around how to start a business and make it successful. And so I thought that I really like doing this. I said yes to a whole bunch of things after I sold my business. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I sold my business. Yep. And one of the things I said yes to was speaking at events to help entrepreneurs. And you know what? I loved it. I loved the connection. I loved helping them. I loved feeling like I was making an impact through my story, and just wanted to do it some more. And it's led to this.
Love it, love it. And so many tidbits of wisdom right there. And one of them is first of all to say yes to new opportunities, because I'm sure that at that time you were a little bit nervous about the whole idea of standing in front of a room full of people and speaking, and maybe it was something that you hadn't done before, but you still said yes. And look at how many opportunities and how many new ideas that trigger for you. And then at the same time, you continued to say yes to what resonated with you. Because, it's easy to want to say yes to everybody and then do stuff that we really hate, just because we want to say yes. But you continue to say yes to what proved to feel good for you. And I'm guessing that that has a lot to do with the message in your one word. Is was about you, that is unique, that resonates with you, that people can relate to, and that they can actually change the world. I love that. I love that. Now you're here today. You have a huge audience of people who have been changed by your message. And now you've been compelled to actually write a book, and I want you to please share more about it. First of all, why write it now, and exactly what the message is in your book.
Sure. I didn't want to write a book at the start. I have an agent in New York who represents me and pitches me on deals and brands and speaking gigs and a bunch of that stuff. And he said, you need a book. You need a book to get out. You need a book to make your name. You need a book to get more gigs. And, I don't like doing anything just to get more gigs. And I felt like with what I'm doing, a book isn't required. I can open doors now with my YouTube channel, right? Having a successful YouTube channel is the new having a book. And so I didn't want to write a book at the start. Then as I was thinking about, I was going through the one-word process myself. I was just discovering it. I was still understanding it. I was still applying it to my life, my business. And I was seeing how powerful it was for me, and then for the people that I infected with it, the people who learned about it. And I thought this really, really, really lends itself well to a book. And if I'm going to write a book, this is the book I'm going to write. And they wanted me to write kind of a boring, usual, normal, typical book. And if I'm not passionate about something, I don't want to do it. I need to, there's a lot of love that went into the book, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. And so that's why I wrote it. I never thought I would be an author. I'd much rather make visual content. That's why I do well on YouTube and speaking and that kind of stuff. So the concept of the book is everybody has one word that defines them. You have one main core value that defines who you are. And when you figure that out, it adds a level of clarity for your life. I think most people are living their life in the mud. I think most people are living just an okay life. It's not, I don't think many people love themselves, really genuinely love themselves. I don't think many people really genuinely love the life that they're living. I think most people believe that they could be doing better, that they're destined for something bigger, and they're not living up to their potential, and they don't know why. And that really frustrates me. Untapped potential is the biggest frustration for me when I see somebody who has so much skill and potential and ability and heart and love, and they're just living so far below their potential, it just destroys me. And so I believe the first step to overcoming that is self-awareness, is understanding your main value, looking at your life, and then seeing what is incongruent. Like, so for me, it's about believe. And now I need to look at my life, and I started, and this is the stories in the book too, but looking at, okay, is my business enough about believe? Is my relationship enough about believe? Do I believe in my son enough? Do I believe in my team enough? And it adds a layer of clarity to start looking at your life and business and see where are things not aligned. And some people know what they're all about. Some people understand their core value and can get it really quickly, and then can quickly go into look at their life and see where things might not be in order. And some people have no idea. Some people are so in the fog that they have no idea what's most important to them. And if that's you, then you're constantly going to be living a life based on other people's expectations. You're constantly just going to be doing things because other people want you to do them, instead of you doing things because that's what you want. And so to me, it's the first step to really figuring out that untapped potential inside yourself, having the self-awareness to understand your core value, and then build a life and a business around it.
Love it. Yeah, so it's about clarity, about awareness, and that's the first step to really, make change, to change your life, to do something that you actually always dreamed of, or something that you never thought you were capable of doing. Now, what I'm thinking though, for somebody who's listening and saying, well, that figuring out my one word sounds either scary, because what if I figure out that I don't like my one word, or that I will, I'm not ready to live it. And number two, what if it's a lot of work? What if I never find it and I feel like something's wrong with me because I never found my one word? What would you say to them, Evan?
Yeah, I think the things that are worth going for in life are going to scare you at the start. If you're not scared of doing something, then you're playing your life so safe that you never reach out. You never go and get that potential. I think for the first part, it doesn't have to be so much pressure. I think, like anything else, when you first try out something, you don't have fantastic results. When you first start a YouTube channel, your first video is not going to be great. Don't expect it to be amazing. When you first learn a language, you're not going to read a book right away. Everything is in baby steps. And so same thing with the process of finding your one word. You may have a few in your head. You may like, even just listening to this conversation may inspire some thinking. The point of the book is to kind of guide people through that process. And you may have a few words that you need to sit with for a while. And there's some other exercises to kind of help you get it down to one. But don't freak out if you don't know it right away. That's okay. Just like everything else that you learned, you will get it if you keep following through, right? Like you learn to walk. We all start off crawling, and one of these days you get up and you learn to walk. And so that's what I want people to do. Like, understand that you will learn it. You will pick it up. Don't let the fear hold you back from doing it. The second part of your question was about if it's too big and too scary. And it's a common thing, and for me too, I look at believe being my word. I thought, man, that's way too big a thing. Like, who am I to be the believe person, right? I need something more specific or smaller, and right there, what am I doing? I'm limiting myself.
Right.
As soon as you start saying it's too big, like, who's to say that it's too big? Just you. And that negative self-talk has kept you where you are your entire life. And there's some exercises that we go through to kind of help you bridge that gap. But it's a common reaction, like, this is too big, or it's been done before, or I can't be defined in just one word. And overcoming those limited beliefs is part of the process to help you realize your potential. Like, if you feel like there's more inside you than what is currently happening in your life, it's going to come by breaking through that belief, right?
Exactly right. Yes, because I think the process of figuring out your one word is a discovery process, and if you're aware of how you feel as you do that, then you'll also be aware of those limiting thoughts or beliefs that we all have. Sometimes I'm planning on doing a new program, or I connect with a new influencer, which I've met so many new people even in the past couple of weeks. And these are entrepreneurs with, multi-million-dollar businesses. And I found myself sometimes like sweating, like nervous about it. It's like, oh my God, this is just, am I just doing too much and meeting these very important people? And do I have what it takes to connect with them and to interact with them? And I think we all go through that. And I think it's a matter of being aware of it rather than letting it take us down, correct?
100%. I think fear is the worst reason to not do something. What will often happen is you're so afraid of something, and you're smart, and so you convince yourself that there's a logical reason. You convince yourself that there's a practical reason, right? Like you'll say, oh, I can't do that interview because my schedule's really busy, or I don't really like that topic, or I don't have the gear, right? My camera's not working, or my microphone's, we'll do it later. Well, you convince yourself. That's the real scary part, because you don't even realize that it's just a fear. It's just that this person has done a lot more and you're afraid to talk to them.
Right.
When you realize that, when you as soon as I feel something that I don't want to do because I'm afraid to do it, then I have to do it. Like, get used to building that muscle that you have to do it, even on a small scale. My son likes wearing different color socks. He never wears the same matching socks. He's 7 years old. He never, even if you put them together, he'll rip them apart and wear 2 different color socks. And so I was going through my sock drawer, and I had 2 different color socks, and I kind of lost the other pairs. I was about to throw them away, and I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll embrace my inner 7-year-old and wear 1 gray sock and 1 black sock. And my first thought was, holy cow, what are people going to think of me if I'm wearing 2 different colored socks?
Yeah.
And as soon as I had that thought, then I had to do it. Because the only thing that was holding me back was the fear of other people judging me. And that's not a legit reason. So I had to go and do it. And then I turned that into a story that I could, share on my YouTube channel and for audiences and different things. But if you can recognize, the hardest part is recognizing that you're just afraid. If you can recognize that you're just afraid, then you can summon the courage to step through it. And your one word will help give you the confidence to go and do it. If you know you're about believe, and this thing was going to help people believe, then it gives you the courage and confidence to move through. The trickier part is when you've just convinced yourself that there's practical reasons why you shouldn't be doing it, where it's really just fear.
Yeah, that is dangerous. And that's why, the whole awareness piece and the clarity are essential, I think, to the whole process of figuring out your one word. Now, you say that you can build a business around your one word. So how would that happen? Like, what is the first step? Like, of course, your first step is to determine your one word. And once you know it, then what would you do to really kind of make a living, realizing or actualizing your one word?
Sure. So in the book, it goes through my example, as well as somebody who's built a $50,000 business, $500,000 business, 1 million, 5 million, and $150 million, all around their one word. And everybody's one word is different in the book, but it's to give people an example of, if somebody's just starting up, that $150 million business maybe not seem that attainable, but the $50,000 full-time income, that's what I want to do. It's understanding obviously what your one word is, and then bringing it out into the world. So, if you sell landscaping services, great. How many people are selling landscaping services in your area, right? There's probably tons. So how are you going to stand out? Some people will just sell, well, we have, these services that are different than everybody else, and that's a little bit better than just selling the features. But really, what people want to do is they want to feel connected to you as a human being. They want to connect. They want to feel connected to your business. This is a reason why people go to Whole Foods, right? There's a reason why people buy from Apple, beyond just the product being great. So if you come to me and you say, we're the landscaping company, and our biggest core value is honesty. right? We just believe in honesty. We are transparent in our pricing. You know, honesty comes from my parents who taught me that I always need to be honest in every situation. And sometimes that means I lose business because my competitors might jack up their prices, but they sell in a way that's, you know, maybe dishonest at the start. If I am somebody who believes in honesty as a core value, I'm going to want to do business with you. I want to do business with the honest landscaper. If I don't care about honesty, then I probably won't do business with you. I'm not interested. Maybe I just want the cheapest price. And what it does is it helps eliminate the negative people from your life. Because if you end up working with a client who's dishonest and you value honesty, you're not going to have a great relationship. That's going to be a terrible client. They're going to cause so many problems. They're not going to give you referrals. You're going to have to go back over and over and over again to try to make them feel happy. It's better for them to self-eliminate, so you don't even have to deal with these people. But then for the honest people, the people who really have that as their core value, if they're typing in landscaping services, Ohio, or wherever it is, there's going to be a list of 30 different companies that show up, and all of them are going to look exactly the same. And then there's yours, who says, we are the honest landscaping company. You have the first shot in, and you can charge a premium price because now you're bringing in, you've separated yourself, right? For the people who value honesty, they're going to want to work with you. And it's the same thing for whatever your core value is. Right. You're going to start attracting the people in, so you can put it on your website, right? You put your mission statement in, and not just like a boring mission statement. Write something that really means something to you. Right. Put your bio up on your website with a picture. Tell me why that value is so important to you. Make me feel it. Make me feel like if I end up working with you, I'm going to get that feeling transferred to me. I had a person calling my radio show who had a lawn cutting business, and he said, I treat every lawn like it's my mother's lawn. And right there, it's like, you know what? Yeah. I'll pay that person 30% more, 50% more, double. Like, how much does it cost to cut a lawn? 30 bucks? I would pay him 50 bucks, 60 bucks. Because I feel like he's going to care more than the high school kid down the street who'll do it for 30.
That's right.
And if he didn't mention that, if he just had a boring website with everything else, I have nothing to compare on. So I'm just going to go with whoever's the cheapest price. Right. So people buy values. People want to know what you stand for. If your values are aligned, then you're going to get customers for life.
I love that. And there's as you said, there's a double benefit to that. Number one, you're going to attract the right people, so you'll be able to actually help them in a better way, because somebody who's not aligned with your values will really not get that much value out of your stuff. It's just not a good alignment. And at the same time, you'll be happier with your business, which will encourage you to keep growing your business and to help more people. So I think it's just a cycle of goodness that's creates itself when you use your one word in all your messaging. And as you said, it applies to something that seems to be such a commodity business such as lawn mowing. And then if you have an expert business, you are the face of your business, and I think it's a lot even easier to base your business on your one word. I love that. So then tell me that the book is going to be available for. It's already available for sale, but it hasn't come out. It's coming out soon. So why don't you tell us a little bit more, like where to find the book and to learn more about it?
Sure. It's off my website, evercarmichael.com, and then /one word, all lowercase. It comes out December 6th. There's a hardcover version. There's an audiobook version where I'm actually reading it. So that was super fun to be able to do. Apparently, most authors don't read their own book. I would always get upset when I listen to an audiobook and I'm expecting the author and then it's some actor. So anyway, so I read it myself and it was super exciting. And then there's an ebook version as well that has some bonus video content of me on there. So yeah, it's available December 6th, and super excited for it to get out there and start impacting some lives.
Yeah, that's exciting, very exciting. And then you mentioned those bonus videos that I think are very valuable. So it's not just that you're getting the book, but the videos. And as you said, you're gifted in front of a camera when you're with the audio or message. So, you'll love listening much more about what Evan has to share. So there's something that I love to ask my guests. And I've already shared a lot of the things that you do that are definitely different, such as the Vespa, the five-toe shoes, all that stuff. But is there anything that most people don't know about Evan Carmichael that you'd like to share? That anything?
Something that's like most different about me, or that people don't know
Well,
about me.
just that people don't know. Yeah, because we feel that we know you a lot, but I'm sure there's much more.
Something that people don't know about me.
Mhm.
Um, that's a good one. I share a lot on my channel. Cloris always answering the fun questions. Um, I loved playing banker in Monopoly and in all the games. I always wanted to be the banker. I would even play by myself. I would play board games by myself, and then try to like devise strategies. But whenever I played with other people, I would always control the money. Um, yeah, from a very early age. Maybe that was another sign of entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Um, there you go.
but
I don't think
definitely.
I've never told anybody that. So
There you go. That's a great story. And, I think you're right. You were already showing signs of being an entrepreneur and a strategist, so if you can relate to what Evan said, and you're playing your board games on your own and deciding what strategy you'll use, then you know that entrepreneurship is definitely in your blood. So love that, Evan. And, I just wanted to say it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And remember that, just like Evan has done this, he's created something that is just so beautiful and so big. And, he started from nothing, and he started with a passion, and so can you. And that's why, you definitely have to first realize that gift, to define your one word, and then take action, because once you know that word, then there'll be a little bit of fear telling you to not act on it and to wait, like, maybe next year or so forth. But, even just doing one small thing today can make a big difference. So, Evan, any other words you'd like to say to the audience before we go?
I just want to thank you and recognize you. I love your vibe. A lot of the people that I do interviews with and get on the calls with are like, I don't know, super aggressive, and it's fun. And it's fun to like get up and like get yelling and get into conflict and stuff. But you just got a really nice, chill, warm vibe, caring, and this has been a really cool change of pace. I really enjoyed your insightful questions, and I'm gonna carry forth a little bit of Cloris in me for the rest of the day. So thank you. It's a gift for me. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And as I always say, every second of your life, reveal your magnificence. And thank you, Evan.
I love that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.